creating a hierarchy in your network. Now, when we say hierarchy, we're talking about a structure of parent-child relationship. So you see how we have the pegs here, and then we're connecting another peg to this peg, and then we're connecting this peg to that peg, and we kind of go up like a step-like system. So let's read what we have here. In order for the character build to function properly, additional pegs need to be created, which are parent-child relationships need to be created. For example, when the upper arm moves, the lower arm must follow, and when the lower arm moves, the hand follows. To accomplish this, you will have to peg the hand and the lower arm to the upper arm. Or when it says peg, you mean connect them together. And we're going to connect them together in the network view. So there's a small connection string at the top of the peg that allows you to connect pegs to other pegs. So for example, if I was to click and hold and drag over, it would create the string that you use to hook up underneath this. So I'm going to do this as a demonstration in Toon Boom. So let's bring over back our network view. And let us find the hand. So here is where our arm is located, and this is the hand. Now what I would do is I would move this arm up. So I move it up so that visually you can see that this arm has a higher position in the hierarchy in comparison to this hand. Now, look closely at the top of the peg. You see this little box thing here? When you click on it and drag up, it creates like this little string connection. You release the mouse, it disappears. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to click and drag and connect it underneath the arm. What that does is that it creates a parent-child relationship between the hand and the arm. So notice that when I select the arm, notice that the hand is also selected. And when I rotate the arm up, the hand follows. So if I look at the other arm over here, there's no parent-child relationship. So when I rotate the arm moves up and the hand does not follow. But with this connection that we create here, whenever I select the arm and I move it up, the hand will follow with it. Or if I select the hand and I press B to go up the hierarchy, it highlights up to the peg. And then if I press B again, it highlights up to the arm. So that's the first part. Let's do the other arm. We have this hand here, and we have the arm here. So we visually move the arm up to show where its position is in the hierarchy. And we click here and we move it underneath here. So when we press B and go up the hierarchy, we have a peg set up right here, and when we move the arm up, that moves. So we have both arms that are connected to the hands. Now, the next step is to connect the arms to the torso. The torso is located here. So this is the peg for the torso. Now, I'm going to move the torso a bit higher up the hierarchy. Why? Because when we select the hand, we're going to move from the hand to the arm, and then we're going to jump from the arm to the torso, and it's going to select the entire torso with the arms. So what we do next, seeing that we move the torso up, we're going to now click here and connect this arm underneath the torso. And we're going to do the same thing for this here. We're going to click this and connect it underneath the torso. I'm going to just move this torso over a bit like that, so that it's a bit more organized. I can actually reorganize how my network views as I go along. I'll just move that right here. This is just for organization purposes. Because it would be better if my torso was located here, so that now we can see that the the left arm or right arm is being connected to the torso here, and we can see that this is being connected here. So now whenever we select the torso and we rotate, notice that the arms are following along with it as well. So if I was to start from the lower part here, which is the hand, and I press B, and I go up the hierarchy, notice it jump to the arm. I can rotate the arm like that. And when I press B, it jump up to the torso, and now I can rotate the torso like that. Now, the next thing that we need to connect to the torso is the neck. But before we connect the neck to it, I want to connect the, if you realize, we have all that. Let us start with the facial features. I wonder if I should start. Let's start with the facial features. So we have the pupil and we have the eye. Now what I would do, I would move the eye up and connect that so that whenever I select the eye, the pupil moves along with the eye moves along with the pupil. Because as it stands right now, whenever I move the eye, the pupil is not following. The pupil is a child. The eye is the parent and the pupil is the child. So whenever I move the pupil, notice that the pupil can move independently. But if I were to select the eye would control the movement of the pupil. Same thing with the lower part here. The hand. The hand is a child of the arm. So notice that the hand moves independently like that. However, if I were to select the arm, wherever the arm goes, the hand has to follow. The arm is a child of the torso. If I was to select the torso and move, both the arms and the hands would follow the movement of the torso. So that is how we would do it. So now we have the pupil that's connected to the eye. Let us do the other one. So we have this eye and we have this pupil. So we just connect this pupil to the eye. So whenever we select the eye, that moves. All right. Now what I want to do, I want to set up a facial feature peg. So look at me closely now. I'm going to select the eye. I'm going to hold on control while I'm selecting the different pegs. I'm going to hold on control, select the eye 2, nose, mouth, and the eyebrow. Now, seeing that all of these are selected, you can see that all of these are highlighted and selected. I'm going to press Control P, and what that did was that created one peg that controls all of these pegs. I'm going to call this peg facial feature peg. So I double click on the yellow box here to bring up the layer properties, and I'm going to change the name here. Facial features. And when you're confirming the name, press enter, and it change the name of the peg here to facial feature. You just close the layer property. Now, why did I do this? We want to have the ability to move the facial features together. Why? Because you want to enable the animator to do head turns. So if the animator wants to turn from a front view to a 3/4 front, you can have the ability to tween the facial features moving across the face like that, and then you can adjust other parts and adjust them like that. So what will end up happening is that you have a facial feature that looks more like a 3/4. You kind of get where I'm going with this. And then you move over the ears. It's not a 3/4, but I'm just showing you an idea as to why we move why we peg, so that when the animator is animating, he can move the facial features all together as a group. Now, you'll also notice that the facial features, there's a pivot here for the facial features, so that the facial features will rotate around that pivot point. Now, what we have to do, if you're, what I want you to do is to look closely at the color coding. Notice that whenever we select a drawing module, it appears purple. When we go one level up, it is yellow. Then we go at another level up, still yellow. But when we go to this facial feature, notice that it has a red bounding box. That is because this peg is a peg of a peg. So it's a second level peg. That is why it appears red. Whereas the first level pegs will appear yellow and drawing modules will appear purple. So we have our facial feature peg here. I'm going to set the pivot position for this. What you have to do when you're dealing with this second level peg here with the pivot position, you can't use the pivot tool to set it. You have to go to like right click and go to advanced animation, and then you click on this tool right here which enables you to set the pivot position for the facial feature peg. You move it right there and then you click back on your transform. So whenever we deselect and reselect the peg, the pivot position is now located here. And you know, the facial features is like that. Now, what I'm going to do now, I'm going to move the head layer up. Because think about it this way. Whenever you move your head, your facial features follow the movement of your head. So if you were to rotate your head from left to right, your eyes, your nose, your mouth, your ears, all of those features would follow. So this facial feature peg must be connected under the head. So that when we select the head right here, the facial features move with the head. You see, if we didn't have this connection right here, what would happen is that the head would be rotating and the facial features would move. But because we have the facial features grouped as one peg right here, we just connect this peg to that peg, and when we select the head, the facial features move with the head. Now, the ears need to follow the head. So notice we have ear 1 and we have ear 2. So these I would connect to the head. And then I connect this to the head. So that when we select the head peg, we have a situation where the head is rotating like that. And we can select the facial features where we can move the facial features across the head in case if we want to do a head turn. And we have the ability to move the ears independently if we want. All right, so we're going good. Now, when we move the head, you know that whenever you move your neck, your head should follow. So what that means? It means that your head should be a child of the neck. The neck should be in control. You try moving your neck, and you will see that your head will follow. So that means that we're going to find the neck peg. So we have the neck peg right here. We're going to move that up. The reason why I'm moving them up is because visually you can see what body part is in charge of what body part. So we know that the neck should control the head. So we're going to connect the head underneath the neck. So that when we select the neck, the head will follow. You see where I'm going with this now? So if I was to select the mouth, I can press B and go up the hierarchy. It go up to the facial features. It go up to the head. Then it go up to the neck. So now I have the ability to rotate the neck. If I press Shift and B to go down the hierarchy, it go to the head. So now I can rotate the head separate like that. If I press Shift and B, it go down to the facial features. And I can move the facial features across the face. So we have that. We're almost finished with the upper body part of the rig. Now, what you have to think about, if I was to move my torso, my body, and let's say you were to lean over to the left or lean over to the right, what would happen? Can anybody tell me what would happen if it tells us that the torso should be in charge up here? It means that the neck should now be connected under the torso, so that when we select the torso and rotate the body over, the neck and the head follows. Do you understand? Everybody clear on that? In terms of the order?
Yes, sir.
Right. So we have a system here where the hand, when we select the hand rotates like that. That's fine. If I press B and go up the hierarchy, the arm is controlling the hand. If I press B and go up the hierarchy, we have where the torso is controlling the entire body like that. We have the ability to select the neck and rotate the head like that, and the head can rotate like that. The ears can move independently. The pupil can move independently. So we're kind of starting to get a functional rig. Now, if you look back now, are you seeing where we're kind of developing a system where the pegs are connected to each other? It's very simple, you know. It might look complicated, but it's a very simple process. It's just, you just have to have an understanding as to how the body operates. Now, let us look at the lower body. Now, we know that the lower body now, if I was to rotate this thigh, what should be following along with the thigh? If I rotate this up, what should be going up with it? Requesting feedback. Can anyone tell me when I rotate this up, what should be going along with it? Let me check the chat. The foot. So Natisha said the foot. So, but would it be this foot or would it be this foot? Which one would this thigh be directly in control of? Because you have the leg and you have the foot, but you have the thigh right here. The leg should follow, right? So we have the thigh right here. I'm going to move this up. And we have the leg, well, that's the other leg. This is the leg that we want. Let me just move this over here and then move this over, so the hierarchy structure flows a bit better. So we're going to move this leg up in second in command in terms of visually placing it in that position. So simply we just click the top part here and create the connection under there, so that when we select the thigh, that goes up like that. Now, seeing that we have that part now, when we rotate this, the foot should follow. So simply just connect the foot underneath the leg, so that when we rotate the leg, the foot follows. Same process with the other part of the foot. We're almost through with rigging this leg. We just move the thigh up, move the oh, well, I want the foot to be over here and the leg, oops, leg to be in this, so that we can see a step-like progression with our structure. So we're going to move this up, and we're going to hook this. Well, you just simply hook this under this and hook this under that, and it's pretty much rigged up. So when we select the foot, we go up to that part rotates like that, and that rotates like that. And we zoom out, we're almost finished with the rig. Now, what I would create a lower body peg. So you see where we have this tie and this tie here. What I would do, I would select both these two pegs and press, I would peg them together. I would create a peg that controls these two pegs. When I press Control P, it creates a peg that controls. So whenever I select this now, I have the ability to maneuver the lower body. I can also have the ability to move this down and rotate. If I want to rotate the lower body like that, so once again, I'm going to call this, the lower body. So you just click on your little layer properties here and name it lower body. Enter. So that's the lower body peg. Just like how we have a facial feature peg that controls all of the facial features, we have a lower body peg that rotates. So right here, it can rotate like that. But notice that the pivot for this lower body peg is located all the way up here. So in our advanced animation tool, we can kind of move that down a bit right there. So that rotates like that. All right, so we have a lower body. So what would happen is that I would move this up on the same level as the torso. The torso is the upper body and the lower body here. So notice we have two different parts. We have where the entire upper body is selected, and we have where the entire lower body is selected. Now, what I'm going to do now is that I'm going to create a master peg. And this you would have remembered from our animation classes, we talk about master pegs, where it enables us to select the entire character. But the reason why we separate the lower body from the upper body is because we want to have the ability to bend him like that. So we have the ability to select the upper body and bend him and rotate him like that. And we have the ability to select the lower body and bend him like that. Now we want a peg that selects everything together. So once again, I can click and highlight these two pegs. I can do it like that, or I can hold on Control and select these two pegs. Notice that everything is now highlighted. So I'm going to press Control P. And what that does, it creates this peg here, which will now be known as our master peg. So I'm just going to click on in the transform here and name it master. Look at P at the end. So you know, that's a master peg. So now whenever we select the master peg, we have the ability to move him around the scene, and we have the ability to scale him up and scale him down. However, here's one more thing that we also need to note as well. Notice that when I scale him up, he's scaling from the center out. What should happen is that the pivot position for the master peg should be down here. So that whenever we scale up the character, he scales up like that. And not necessarily like this. So once again, we select the master peg, and we're going to use our advanced animation tool, because this is a peg up, this is a higher level peg. So we can't use the pivot tool to set the pivot location. We have to use the advanced animation tool. So click the advanced animation tool, and we position this peg at the base of the character's feet. Then we come out of this peg mode by clicking on our transform tool. So if I deselect and select, the new positioning of the peg is right here. And we can scale the character up like that, or we can scale the character down like that.